So you'll know from last week that we decided to make some last minute adjustments to the accelerator to make it flow, hopefully a little bit better. So I will go over the program to give you a bit of an idea. So as a reminder, we created the Sales Accelerator as an 8-week program, which is designed to help you develop your sales skills, to fine tune your processes and ultimately help you close more business. If you want to get the most out of this 8-week program, I really think it's important that you remain present in the sessions, that you contribute to the discussions and you do some collaboration. That's where the real learning happens. That said, if you can't make a session, we're going to record it for you. As you've just heard, Sarah has whacked the recording on, and it will be launched tomorrow for anyone that does need to chip off. We have some time between the sessions where you'll have exercises to complete. Heads up, there are a bunch of exercises to complete this week. We've got a workbook for you. None of them are particularly taxing, but there's a bunch of things that you're going to need to cover, hopefully before the next session next week. And I reckon you're probably in for the higher end this week of 2 hours worth of stuff to do. It might be less. If you've done the Marketing Accelerator, it will definitely be less. If you haven't, then it might be 2 hours worth of kind of homework. Throughout the program, you're going to have access to me, to Sarah, to loads of resources, loads of templates, worksheets, and obviously the rest of you guys on a WhatsApp group where you can ask questions, share insights, share wins. So important. There's been so many wins in the last couple of weeks, and get some feedback. And it is my hope and expectation that if you follow this program for the next 8 weeks, you will have a stronger mindset. You'll have much better processes. You'll be clearer on who you're focusing. You'll have better messaging, and you'll be having better conversations with people more often, which will ultimately lead you to more money, which is what it's kind of all about. Now, I created the content for this back in December, and over the last few weeks, I just kind of ripped it up and started again. I'm going to introduce you to a sales methodology, which comes from a guy called Tom Hopkins, and it's trust, need, help, hurry. Trust, need, help, hurry. You're going to hear me say that at least 5 times today. And this week, we're going to focus on trust and need. 2 weeks' time, we'll talk about help and hurry. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're going to do. I'm covering over that because we didn't update that slide, even though we said
share the slides.
Say again?
Share the slides.
Share the slides.
Share the slides.
Yes, I will share the slides after we got rid of that slide, which we didn't update from last week. So let's get started. I'm not going to tell you the agenda because I didn't update the slide. Apologies for that. But we're going to talk about loads of stuff in the trust and need categories today. So I would like you all to start off by putting into the chat, on average, how many times you guys think it's okay to follow up with a prospect. Oh shit, I'm not slide sharing. Thanks. All right, gang, sorry. Sarah's just run up to say, you're not sharing your slides. Now I'm sharing my slides. So I saw someone say 30, which is amazing. How many times do you guys think it's okay to follow up with prospects? I've just lost my slides. This is going really well. This is going so well. Give me a second. There you all are. Sarah, can you spit out some of these answers for me? Because I'm not looking at the chat.
We've got every time, 30, 10, at least more than 27. That's really specific. I like that. Till I get an answer, more than I currently do, that's for sure. As many as you need to get response until they say not yet or bugger off. Okay,
we're dealing with some pros. I wasn't expecting.
There's also a couple down the lower end. 1, 3, 4.
I was expecting more of the more than I currently do. I think I know who wrote that. Smile if you wrote that. I think I know who wrote that. There we go. Listen, guys, one of the biggest barriers to success isn't skill, it's mindset. We talked about this in great detail 2 weeks ago. The best salespeople, they're not pushy, they're problem solvers. And what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is shift that mindset from selling to helping. In my opinion, there are 3 key mindset shifts that will transform how you approach sales. Number 1, sales is about helping people, not forcing anyone. If you have a genuine solution to someone's problem, you owe it to your prospect to let them know. Number 2, rejection is never personal. It often just means not now. And number 3, the follow-up is where the magic happens. Most people do not buy on the first interaction. They need time and multiple touch points. So with that in mind, here are some stats around that. 48% of salespeople never follow up after the first contact. Now, I don't think that applies to anyone on this call, to be honest with you, but it's staggering when you consider that only 2% of sales are made on that first contact. Nuts. 80% of all sales require at least 5 follow-ups before they will be closed. But only 10% of salespeople are ever following up more than 5 times. And the takeaway on this slide for me really is the fortune is and has always been in the follow-up. If you're only reaching out once or twice, you are leaving huge amounts of opportunities on the table. And that's why to win the game of sales, you really need to create a joined up sales and marketing process that helps you become pleasantly persistent. You're going to hear me talk about being pleasantly persistent a bit as well. What you see here is a classic image of a sales pipeline. Essentially, put enough people in at the top in enough quantity and customers will come out at the bottom. Now, it's not a true funnel. A true funnel is everything you put in at the top comes out in a more concentrated form down at the bottom. What this actually demonstrates is that you're going to lose people at every stage, which sucks, to be honest with you, but that's kind of the reality. Now, the marketing accelerator was responsible for helping you attract people into the top of your funnel. The sales accelerator is concerned with helping you consistently close more business at the other end. So I'm mentioning the importance of having a joined up sales and marketing strategy because you'll see lots of marketing activity at the top of the funnel, and then there's this blurry intersection where it says both, right? And that's prospecting, and it's where sales and marketing gets really blurry. In my opinion, probably prospecting is more sales than marketing, but it's absolutely marketing because you don't know at this stage whether they're a suspect or a prospect. So you can't really sell to a suspect. You can only really sell to a prospect, or you shouldn't be selling to a suspect. So you're also going to see on the left-hand side, it says nurture 2 to 200 touches. Trust me when I tell you, there are people that have recently bought that have needed 200 touches. Fact. They have needed lots and lots and lots of phone calls, emails, LinkedIn posts, newsletters. They've needed lots of stuff. And that's why I'm kind of talking about these things working together, sales and marketing working together. So today we're going to focus on prospecting, which I think is really, really important to get ahead. And then we're going to talk about first contact and qualification. And at each stage, I'm going to help you come up with some processes that you can create, replicate, and refine over time to help you close more business. But if you try to sell to everyone, as I've just alluded to, you will end up selling to no one. The clearer you are on your ideal client, the easier selling will become. So first things first, if you are not really, really clear on your ideal customer profile or your avatar, you must do that. If you want to make more money, you must get clear on this. Now, if you participated in the Marketing Accelerator, this is easy peasy because you've already done it. If you haven't, I would strongly recommend that you take the time to watch the video on avatars. As a minimum, complete the workbook, which I think Laura's going to share in the WhatsApp group right around now. Your avatar is the people who you are most likely to be able to sell to. So they're people that you suspect might be a good fit for your business. They're people that you suspect you could help in some way. They're people that you suspect that can afford what you have to offer. Let me be crystal clear. It is my assertion here that if you invest your time in getting clear on clients, you will avoid wasting a great deal of time and money in speaking to people who don't have the budget, need, or authority to buy what you're selling. So what we need to do is understand that there is some key information about your best contacts, your best prospects, that if you understand it, it will make your life easier. So they're things like demographics, the simple stuff like age, sex, where they live, what sort of company they're in, those sorts of things. Psychographics, so this is kind of the deeper stuff. So like their goals, their fears, their frustrations. Then you've got things like where do they hang out? So what are they consuming? Are they online or are they offline? What are they reading? Are they going to conferences? What sort of places are they? Where are they? And then things like goals and desires. So what are they striving for personally and professionally? Now you can get all of that information by speaking to your best customers. Your best customers, the ones that pay you the most money on time, that you enjoy work, that you love working with, that value what you do, they're the people that you want more of. The whingy ones who never pay you on time, that haggle over everything, don't ask them. You don't want any more of them. Get rid of them. Focus on the ones that are going to give you more of the stuff that you like. So, as I said, this stuff is critical, but I've already talked about it before in the Marketing Accelerator, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I would encourage you to do the avatar workshop, the avatar stuff. So, first little bit of homework for you, gang. If you haven't, do that avatar worksheet. If you have, bonus. So, in my opinion, sales is a little bit like a dance. When we first step into sales and marketing, the people that we're engaging with, they don't know us, they don't trust us, and they certainly don't want to be sold to. So I like to use the thermometer example, which again comes from Tom Hopkins. Imagine these thermometers. Imagine one of them, the blue one, says trust, and the other one says skepticism. If you think about it from your perspective, if someone new enters your sphere, they cold call you, they email you, they whatever, you will immediately have two thermometers going off in your head. One of them is, I'm skeptical of everything you say because you're trying to sell me something. And the other one is, I don't trust you because I don't know you. So skepticism will be sky high, trust will be low. Now, our job through the sales process is to gradually, can I see? Yeah, I can see myself. Gradually lower skepticism, while at the same time, we slowly increase the trust. It's like a dance. And that's why having a strong, refined sales process is so useful. Because if you come in pushing too strong straight away, that skepticism will just rise and you'll struggle to make any progress. So as we move through this session, keep those thermometers in mind. Every step that we take is designed to slowly chip away at skepticism while slowly building trust. And that's how we'll end up turning cold prospects into loyal customers. So you heard me talk about it already. Tom Hopkins talks about trust, need, help, hurry. I've been absolutely shit at the hurry step in the past. I'm working on it. What does it mean? So before any prospect will buy from you, the first thing that you need to do is build trust. So without trust, nothing else matters. And you do the trust thing by building rapport, demonstrating credibility, reliability, and likability. Because if they don't trust you, the sale is not happening. It's as simple as that. Once trust is established, the next step is to identify their needs. So that means asking the right questions and uncovering their pain points and seeing if what you offer truly aligns with what they need at this stage. It's really not about selling, it's about listening and understanding. Then, and only then, do you move into showing them how you can help. Clearly, confidently demonstrating how your product or service is going to help them solve one of their problems. And then finally, the thing that I've historically been so bad at is getting them to hurry up. But it's where so many pieces of business, I can tell you for me personally, loads of my business is lost. Not lost, because you never really lose it until they tell you to like properly bugger off, but is delayed by years sometimes because I don't get them to hurry up. If you want to close more business, you need to help them to take action sooner rather than later. So today, we're going to focus on trust and need. And next week, we're going to focus on help and hurry. So how do you build trust early in a relationship, and how do you identify a real need subtly that you can solve? If you master those two things, I believe that the rest of the sales process will become easier. So what a beautiful picture we've come up with. This is kind of a visual representation of where sales and marketing overlap. On one side, you've got marketing. So everything from newsletters, the blogs, your website, SEO, all of those other activities that are designed to reach people and nurture potential customers, essentially. They're going to create multiple touch points with those suspects, prospects, and existing customers. Very, very important that you've got that stuff going on. And then in the middle, as I said earlier on, there's this overlap between sales and marketing, which I call outbound prospecting. And it's where marketing essentially hands off to sales and the real one-on-one engagement begins. And then we've got sales itself, which includes obviously the prospecting, but the first contact, first meeting, second meeting, and ultimately closing the deal. Now, I understand that is a massively simplified process. Some of you are going to have much more sophisticated processes to follow, and we're going to help you do that in week 7. But broadly speaking, this is the blueprint for making a sale. So as I said, we're going to focus on prospecting next, first contact and first meeting. Because in those early interactions, your goal, and I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, isn't to sell. It's to determine whether the person that you're speaking to is actually the prospect or whether they're just a suspect. But what's the difference, and how do you identify a true prospect? So let's jump into that. For those of you who did the Marketing Accelerator, you will have heard me say to you, you need to target 200 and then focus on 30. How many of you can remember me saying that? There's a few of you in the room that remember me saying that. And I practice what I preach, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming, Luke. I love you. I think it's really important to identify a whole ton of people that you suspect could be a good fit for you, and then focus in on some of them. So about 6 weeks ago, we updated this with people who are genuine suspects. We don't know whether they're prospects, they're suspects. But you'll see that some of them have got little circles around them. Now, we wouldn't normally do this. This is for the benefit of like demonstrating. Some of them we've had conversations with, and we've identified that they actually are a prospect. They're not just a suspect. They have a potential need for what we do. They have a potential desire to get involved in what we do. They can afford what we want, and there's a timeline at some point that they might be interested. Prospects instead of suspects, people we think, these are people we know. And from that, you'll see 1, 2, 3 people that actually have become clients. So there we go. This is a living proof that if you focus your attention on people that you want to hit, you can hit them, and then 3 times in 1 time in 10, you'll hit the mark. You've got to go through some no's. So there we go. Prospecting. I need a little drink. Give me a second. The foundation of any great sales process is prospecting, in my opinion. There's a guy called Jeb Blount who wrote a book called Fanatical Prospecting, phenomenal book. And he says the number one reason for failure in sales is an empty pipeline. Quick question, Sarah, can you read them out to me? How many people, businesses or projects do you guys have in your pipelines right now? How many people, businesses or projects do you have in your pipeline right now? So whilst you own up to that, I'll be honest, there have been times, in fact, the last time was last year when I was under properly serious pressure. We had just taken on Robin. Our overhead had gone up significantly for us. And I looked at an upcoming taster session and not a single person was booked on. I'd basically been busy with delivery and all of that other stuff that we get involved in. And there was no one booked on. I looked at the pipeline, there was nothing. No one to call, no warm leads, no responses from emails that I'd sent out. And I panicked. I picked up the phone to a guy called Dan Sparrow, who some of you might know. I basically said, mate, do you know anyone who might be interested in coming onto a taster? Because I'm in the shit, basically. And that moment where I had to pick up the phone to a client and say, please, can you help me with a referral? That was a kind of low point for me, actually, to be honest with you. And I made a vow to myself that whilst I needed to get better at referrals, different story, coming at it from a point of desperation is never a good thing. And I vowed to never let my pipeline run dry ever again. So the real reason behind my empty pipeline was a failure to prospect. I hadn't done enough prospecting to get people into the top of my pipeline. So what can you do about an empty pipeline or a need to prospect? You need to use every tool at your disposal, is what I would say. So use LinkedIn, research potential clients, use Sales Navigator. We're going to do a separate thing on how to use Sales Navigator as a kind of separate webinar thing, because I think it's a really useful tool for prospecting. Go to networking events, build real connections, ask your clients for referrals. And then there's obviously the bit that some of you will hate, which is cold outreach. All of those things are legitimately prospecting. But again, before you invest your time in it, you've got to really ask yourself, your time, too much time in people. What you need to do is ask yourself whether they truly match your avatar. Do you believe, to the best of your ability, that they have the budget, the authority, and the need for what you're selling? So, for example, Natasha on my team knows exactly what she needs to listen out for when she's out and about networking and prospecting. Are they a business owner? Do they want to grow? Are they positive and ambitious and friendly? And do they like helping people? They are our 4 kind of non-negotiables for people joining our groups. And they're the litmus test that she goes through with every single person before she allows them to kind of go further and further down our sales process. If they check the boxes, perfect, they're a prospect. If they're not, they're a suspect. And she moves on. And I think it's really, really, really important for you guys to get that into your minds. There is no point in pursuing people that aren't genuine prospects. I think so many of us, we get focus on activity, doing stuff. We're busy, but actually it's not moving us forward because we're talking to the wrong people. So it's imperative that you talk to the right people and that you identify those people early on. So how do you prospect? Well, some of you love cold calling, I know. Some of you probably don't like cold calling so much. And I've got 8 additional ways that you can prospect that you might find useful. So I want to make it clear, though, before we get into prospecting, the purpose of prospecting is never to sell anyone anything. You're not prospecting to sell anything to anyone. You're prospecting to sell the next step in your process. You're only ever selling the next step in the process. Do not come in too hard. It takes time to build trust. So for almost all of you, you are prospecting for the next step in the process, which happens to be probably a one-to-one, a get to know you style one-to-one, a face-to-face, over the phone, on Zoom or Teams or a virtual coffee. That's the next step. No selling, just being interested in them and their business. So with that ticked off, we've established that cold calling might not be right for everyone, and that's absolutely fine. So there are some strategies that I'm going to share with you that you might choose. So the first one, my favorite, and I'll tell you why it's my favorite. It's my favorite because, well, I've done it a lot. In my career, I've done it an awful lot. And we tend to go to things that we do more. The more we do them, the easier they get. But I genuinely think it's the most direct way. So for me, I like to save time. I guess you'd call me lazy, but I think it works. Anyway, if you don't want to pick up the phone, that's absolutely fine. Emailing works just as well, but no one wants a 10-paragraph sales pitch. Keep it really short, personal and relevant. Start with something that's specific to them, potentially. And if you really must, talk about why you feel like there's a bit of synergy, but do not sell. And like, I think it's probably worth stating. So I've got a very good friend of mine who started out in business at the same time as me, and he used to drive me absolutely, I don't know, it was just, I was baffled by him because he would spend literally half a day to a day researching a company that he'd never spoken to before. He'd researched them for half a day or a day and then write them a really long, beautiful email explaining why they would benefit from what he did. And the reality was he was procrastinating and he was wasting tons of time. So I would encourage you to just like keep it quick, simple, and get on with it. And, you know, needless to say, he's not in business anymore because he wasted too much time. Time's money, right? LinkedIn outreach is phenomenal. I'm going to spend some more time talking about LinkedIn in a bit. Networking, obviously, you'll know I'm a big fan of networking. It's never about selling in the moment. You've got to ask smart questions and then follow up. Have one-to-ones with people where you can start to ask better questions. Always in networking, making it about them, not you. Referrals. Some of the best leads that any of you have had have come from referrals. Thank you, Nikki, for yours recently. I love you many times over. So yeah, referrals really work. Asking people for referrals, specific referrals, absolutely magic. Reconnecting with past contacts. I would hazard a guess that if you guys got brave and looked through your phone, there are 10 people in everyone's phone that you've not spoken to in ages who might be able to open some doors and make things happen for you. And I think that this is seriously underrated as a way of prospecting future business. Just picking up the phone to people who already know you, who already like you, who already trust you, who you've already got past history with. It's not about selling, remember, it's just about having a coffee and, you know, you suspect they might be interested. That's enough. So I think that's valuable. And then you might also decide to host some webinars or workshops or get some warm introductions. So if you've got mutual connections to someone, ask that person for a mutual connection instead of a full-on recommendation. It will lower the pressure. And then finally, direct mail with follow-up. So there are 9 legitimate ways that you can prospect, well, 8 that you don't have to do any cold calling for. And I've used all of them and they work. So your task, over to you. What I'd like you to do is to think about the 8 or 9 different ways that you could prospect. And then I'd like you to look to the one that is just outside of your normal comfort zone. We've all got a comfort zone. Some of us are way out there and some of us are in here. And I'd like you to go to the one that's next to the one that feels uncomfortable. Next to the right, not inside the circle, outside the circle. Because the truth is, gang, the best things happen on the outside of our comfort zone. On the other side, when you step through and you push yourself, you will grow. So I would love you to do that. And I'm going to give you a little tip to help you seriously flip the cards in your favor immediately after I give you some homework. So there are 9 different ways that you could prospect over the next week. I would like, and when we talk about prospecting, we're talking to you, prospecting to suspects, people you believe have got a desire and need the money to be able to use you and your services. I would like you to go for 10 no's. I think that if you go for 10 no's and you get 10 no's, you should see it as a massive, massive, massive success, because the next one is likely to be a yes. If you don't go for 10 no's, who knows how long it'll be before you get your next yes. That's your homework. So I said that I was going to share something that I think is like profound. And I really do think this is profound. If you've seen my Network Like a Pro presentation, I share this in my Network Like a Pro presentation, but this is my model for acting like a tiger and turning complete strangers, people who don't know me, into people who know me. So it's something that I developed over the last couple of years. And I promise you, if you follow this formula, it will work. I've used it to make friends with people like Bob Berg, Hal Elrod, Richard Wildman, Bryony Thomas, and many of my clients have come from me using this method, this methodology, to get them to get to know me. And here's how it works. If you want someone to get to know who you are, you need to have a goal. Who are the people that you want to be known by? So this is about defining your avatar, first step, and then going, I want my avatar in abundance to be known by me. It might be the business owner, it might be the learning manager, it might be the HR director, it could be in multiple companies. But your goal is, I want to be known by this person at this company. After you've set the goal to be known by 30, let's keep it simple, by 30 of your suspects, the next thing you need to do is the first R, which is research. So you need to find out anything that you can about them. So where do they work? What do they do? Where are they based? What are they interested in? All of that sort of stuff. Next up, you need to relate. So this is finding common ground. So it's shared experiences. Do they go to the same school as you? Same town, same industry? Have they got any mutual connections? Any shared challenges? Anything that helps you to relate to them in a genuine way. Next up, you need to reveal yourself. Not in a pervy way, but it does include a little bit of stalking. This is where the magic absolutely happens, I promise you. You need to go to their profile, you need to look at it, and there's an old LinkedIn sales thing that says, look, like, comment, share. It's not enough. You need to go to their profile and you need to go like, comment, love, insightful, comment, like, comment, comment, like. And all of a sudden, you're going to leave their profile. The next day, they're going to log in and they're going to go, who the fuck is Peter Mols? because all of a sudden I've got 20 things in their feed. It's how I did it with Bob Berg. It's how I did it with Hal Elrod. It's how I did it with lots and lots of people. In that moment where they go, who the hell is this person? They know who I am. And I've won, because my goal was to get them to know who I was. So once you've done that, you then need to reach out to them. So, you know, once they know who you are, simply, hey, I've been following you for a while and I think what you're doing is great. I'd love to connect with you. And then last up is repeat. So believe it or not, there are some people that decline this model the first time round. I'm still waiting for Mel Robbins to say yes and accept my friend connection. I'm still waiting for Brené Brown to accept my friendship connection, but I'll keep going, because sometimes you've just got to go around the flywheel a few times. So trust me, that works. So homework. I'm so running out of time. This is mad. I dare you to act like a tiger on 10 people you suspect would be a prospect, but you don't know them and they don't know you. Lisa Wood, this activity was designed for you. There we go. First contact, I'm going to have to start flying. So, in fact, I'm going to go past that. So you've already reached out to them. You've done the whole reach out. Not many of us wake up thinking, I really hope I get a cold call today. And that's why the first conversation should never, ever, ever be about selling anything. It needs to be about trust. There's a guy called Dale Carnegie who wrote one of the most famous business personal development books of all time, called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he said that you can make more friends in 2 weeks by being interested in them than in 2 months by getting them to be interested in you. I think is where a lot of people go wrong on social media, to be honest with you, specifically on LinkedIn. If you're just blurting stuff out and then buggering off, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. There we go. That's a different subject. What we want to do is have a really strategic one-to-one, and the kind of, there are 4 things that you need to look for, or need to look how to do. First things first, you want to make a friend. You need to demonstrate that you're a person that is a good person, that's nice to know, etc., etc. You need to identify some sort of pain really subtly. This isn't about drilling down hard. This is about subtly finding something, a chink in their armor that you think that you can help them with. The next step, you need to kind of try again subtly to qualify them as a prospect. And then the 4th step is to sell the next step if you get any sort of relatively strong buying signal. Unless it's a strong buying signal, I would encourage you to make that next step, let's keep in touch, or let me refer you to someone, not let's have another one-to-one where I can drill down and sell stuff to you. So a one-to-one that is how to have a one-to-one that's genuinely useful. So first step, connect and build rapport. Take about 5 minutes to do this. The opening should be friendly, and I would encourage you to lead with curiosity, definitely not a pitch. Ask about their business, their goals, their challenges, find common ground, etc., etc. Don't get stuck into any sales or small talk. Next up, share your business story. So again, 5 minutes total, and give them more time than you take. When it's your turn, keep it short and relevant. So who are they? Who are you? What do you do? The problems that you solve, maybe potentially a quick success story, which is cleverly created to match something that you assume, you think they might be able to relate to, because that's how you get to, you know, a buying signal. Again, it's not about convincing them that you're the right choice at this stage. It's just about positioning yourself as a useful resource for them. Next 3, very, very subtly try and identify a need. So I'm going to cover it in a bit more detail, but needless to say, don't just ask, are you interested in what I do? Do you need my services? Because the answer will always be no. So I'm going to encourage you to think, as part of the homework, how do you ask some questions subtly that align with your industry? Then finally, number 4, explore mutual opportunities. So I would encourage you to try and find out whether they've got any challenges that your network might be able to help with, and then be a good egg and actually make those introductions. So ask questions like, is there anything that anyone in my network might need help with at the moment? For instance, I'm going to have to fly. And then agree on the next steps. So unless you're really lucky and that person is going, I love what you do and I think that you can help me, avoid selling the next meeting. If they are telling you that, then sell another meeting, arrange another meeting. If they don't, I personally believe it's better to leave them wanting more. And we're going to get to a point where we talk about wow moments in week 7. And I would encourage you to stop, put a wow in, then reach back out rather than progressing. So the one-to-one, just to wrap it all up, it's not about selling, it's about subtly identifying those potential pain points, attempting to qualify them as an actual prospect, and then building rapport. That's essentially what you're looking to do. So, how to win friends and influence people. Some of you will have met people, in fact, we'll all have met people who are just kind of, they're a person that you instantly warm to. Dale Carnegie, in his book, which I encourage you all to read, by the way, says that if you want to get people to like you, you should smile. So it's the simplest, most powerful way to make a great first impression. People will mirror what they see. So if you smile, they'll naturally feel more positive towards you. You should listen. Most people listen for their turn to talk. Let them speak, ask follow-up questions, and show genuine interest in what they're doing and who they are. Be genuinely interested in them. So people love talking about themselves. Just humor them and let them speak about that. Use their name is the most sweet word in any of our vocabularies. Talk in terms of their interests. So don't talk about how much you love to do X, Y, or Z. Find out what they love to do and then talk about that if you want to make a friend with them. And then finally, I affectionately call this blowing smoke in their bum. And people love to have smoke blown in their bum, guys. And I would encourage you to find a way to make other people feel important. If you want to win friends, that's how you do it. So we know how to be known. We know how to be liked. How do we be trusted? So it's not given, it's earned. If you want to make stronger relationships with people in business or life, you need to understand how trust really works. So a guy called Ken Blanchard wrote the trust equation, which goes credibility plus reliability plus intimacy is on the top, and then you divide it by the level of self-interest that the person has. So credibility, what you say and what you know. So people trust people who know their stuff, right? Reliability, do you do what you say you're going to do? Trust is never built in a day, it's built over time. And then intimacy, this is really the fluffy stuff, is how you make people feel. If you have got good emotional intelligence, you make people feel good, you will be more trusted. However, with all of those things, it can be absolutely obliterated if they smell a whiff of self-interest. We've all been in those situations where actually you just feel like that person is doing something just to get what they want. So my advice to you is to dial down the self-interest or make it really, really, really small and subtle. That's the way to win. There we go. Shit, I'm running out of time. Okay. Pain points. One of the biggest mistakes salespeople make is assuming they know the prospect's problem before they truly understand. So And then there's another one, which is jumping to pain too soon. You know, if you jump to pain before you've got trust, no one's going to open up to you. So pain points are the real emotional and tangible struggles that all of our prospects are facing. You can identify one that connects you. If you can connect one that aligns to a solution that you offer, you're going to open up a great opportunity for you to have a sales conversation down the line. But again, you'll hear this word, subtly. So how do you uncover pain without being salesy? Well, being genuinely interested. It's not about pushing, it's about understanding. Asking really good open-ended questions. So, and the key is that relate to the solution that you're providing. And then dig in a little bit deeper when you get an answer, because the answer that you get sometimes isn't the answer. So using things, Alan Pease calls it minimal encouragers. Yeah, okay, tell me more about that. That sounds interesting. Those sorts of things will help you get 2 to 80% more, to 20 to 80% more information just by nodding and asking those sorts of questions. Listen more than you talk, and then make sure that you're acknowledging and validating what they say. So show empathy when they do open up to you, and they will open up to you. If you ask a good question that's related to what you do, and then you nod and you show that you're paying attention, they will open up to you. So I think it's important to say that even when you're doing this and you're kind of in the point where you're trying to uncover some sort of pain that you might be able to help with, it's really important to not sell. Empathize and understand. I think it's much more powerful to leave them wanting more than trying to push an agenda. So I would always leave it, finish the conversation, and then arrange another one a few days later than try and push ahead. So this is so powerful, gang. I would encourage you to create 3 to 5 very subtle pain questions or statements or examples. One of my clients did this or was experiencing this. You know, talk about a genuine, tangible pain point that you help someone solve, and watch for the nods of their heads or the glint in their eye, or the, oh, fucking hell, that's me. You've just described me. Create 3 to 5 of those talking points that you can use by way of a script when you're having a one-to-one that you can kind of come to time and time and time again. All right. We're going to finish on time, Law? I don't know. It's going to be close. Before we wrap up, it's worth talking a little bit more about the qualification of suspects into prospects, because your time is money and we don't want you to waste too much of it on the wrong people. Sounds harsh, but it's a reality. You shouldn't spend a disproportionate amount of time speaking to people that are never going to be potential customers, in my opinion, if you want to make lots of sales. Sounds ruthless, but there you go. And this again comes down to asking a few subtle questions that will help you determine whether the person that you're talking to is a bona fide prospect. So, you know, we've talked about this before in my business. Are they a business owner, managing director, or head of a charity? Yes, brilliant. Are they growth focused? Do they tick that box? Are they positive, a friendly, positive person? And do I believe that they can afford what I'm selling? They're my criteria for turning a suspect into a prospect. I will always give people time. I don't want you to think that I won't give people time, because I will help anyone, but I won't give anyone more and more and more time, if that makes sense. I'm not saying don't, you know, be the person that you are, but don't spend disproportionate amounts of time on people that aren't ever going to buy from you, because you'll just waste your time and your business will suffer for it. So If they tick all four boxes, they're a prospect. If they're not, they're a suspect until proven otherwise. So if they're a suspect in my company, they just get sent back to marketing. And then they'll continue to get touched by our newsletter every week, by our LinkedIn stuff. Once in a while, Natasha might reach out to them. And they'll continue to be touched until they subscribe or tell me they literally never want to hear from me again. So, my friends, your final piece of homework, and this is a good one. I think that this is very important for you. I wonder whether many of you have got it. Define your own qualification criteria. I would like you to write down 3 to 5 statements like I've just done. Are they a positive person? Are they growth focused? Are they a business owner, managing director, or CEO? Can they afford what I'm selling? I would like you to write down your own. There we go, 3 to 5 qualifying criteria. And here we go, with 2 minutes to go, I reached the homework. Yay, I did it. So your homework, if you choose to accept it, you don't have to do it, but I would encourage you to. If you haven't got an avatar, we have got, in my opinion, what is the best avatar worksheet you will find. And Laura's put it in the WhatsApp chat for you. It's easy, it's simple, it's nice to look at, and it will help you get clear on who your avatar is. Use it. If you've already done it, brilliant. You don't have to do that. Just be a tiger. Grr on 10 suspects. So the goal is 10 suspects, 10 of those people who you suspect. These are people who don't know you yet, but you would like to be known by. So be a tiger and grr on 10 suspects, people who don't know you, but you think they will probably be a prospect down the line. I would like you to prospect to 10 people using your chosen method. So for the avoidance of all doubt, be a tiger to people who don't know you. Prospect people you know already, or who know of you already, all right? 3 to 5 subtle pain questions that you can weave in to the conversation when you're having a one-to-one, and then 3 to 5 qualification criteria. And sorry, for the avoidance of all doubt, prospect 10 people using your chosen method with the outcome of arranging the next step in your process, which for most of you would be let's have a quick chat. Let's have a get to know you. Let's have a coffee catch up. Let's have a one-to-one. Let's meet. That's what you're looking for there. That was a lot. Thank you, gang. We're at the end at exactly 3 o'clock. I'm going to stick around and answer any questions that you've got.